if you're new to this channel, you subscribe and comment. Tell me where you're watching me from. Welcome you to this channel. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment to this morning morning run. We are going to finish reading the book of Judges. I'm very happy that we are moving in the right speed, and I hope that we'll be finished reading by in 20 minutes. We'll finish reading the book of Judges. After that, maybe if we have the strength, we'll read the book of Ruth. I don't know whether we have the strength to read the book of Ruth. I don't know. We were in Judges 17. We'll start from Judges 17. Now a man named Micah from the hill country of Ephraim said to his mother, the 1100 shekels of silver that were taken from you, and about which I heard you utter a curse, have that silver with me, I took it. Then his mother said, the Lord bless you, my son. When he returned the 1100 shekels of silver to his mother, she said, I solemnly consecrate my silver to the Lord for my son to make an image overlaid with silver. If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment and tell me where you are watching me. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Tell me where you're watching this channel this morning. For the next 1 hour, I will try my best to read, the book of Judges. If possibly, we'll finish reading the book of Judges and maybe start reading the book of Ruth tonight. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Tell me where you are watching me from. Any questions up to there? Let us continue reading the word. Now this man Micah had a shrine, and he made an ephod and some household gods, and installed one of his sons as his priest. In those days Israel had no king. Everyone did as they saw fit. A young Levite from Bethlehem in Judah, who had been living within the clan of Judah, left that town in search of some place to stay. On his way, he came to Micah's house in the hill country of Ephraim. If you're new to this channel, we are just finishing the book of Judges, so that we can start reading the book of Ruth. Tonight we're going, maybe if possible, if we finish this well and good, maybe we'll start at least one chapter of the book of Ruth. I'll be very happy if we'll do that tonight. Any questions up to there? Micah asked him, where are you from? I'm a Levite from Bethlehem in Judah, he said, and I'm looking for a place to stay. Then Micah said to him, live with me and be my father and priest, and I will give you 10 shekels of silver a year, your clothes and your food. So the Levite agreed to live with him, and the young man became like one of his sons to him. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. It is Friday, the 23rd of January 2026, and I'm very happy if you are welcome to this channel. You can comment, ask me your questions. I will be more than happy to answer your questions, no matter how embarrassing, no matter how difficult your question is. I will do my best to answer your question. Any question up to there? Let us continue reading. We have 60 days only to read the scripture. Then Micah said, okay, then Micah installed the Levite, and the young man became his priest and lived in his house. And Micah said, now I know that the Lord will be good to me, since this Levite has become my priest. We're in Judges 18. In those days, Israel had no king, and in those days, the tribe of the Danites was seeking a place on its own where they might settle, because they had not yet come into inheritance among the tribes of Israel. So the Danites sent 5 of their leading men to Zorah and Eshtaol to spy out the land and explore it. These men represented all the Danites. They told them, go explore the land. So they entered the hill country of Ephraim and came to the house of Micah, where they spent the night. When they were near Micah's house, they recognized the voice of a young Levite, so they turned in there and asked him, who brought you here? What are you doing in this place, and why are you here? He told them what Micah had done for him, and said, he has hired me and I am his priest. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. It is 23rd of January 2026. We're just about to finish reading the book of Judges, and if possible, we'll start reading the book of Ruth tonight, not tomorrow, tonight. All right? So the priest answered them, go in peace, your journey has the Lord's approval. So the 5 men left and came to Laish, where they saw that the people were living in safety, like the Sidonians, at peace and secure, and since their land lacked nothing, they were prosperous also. They lived a long way from the Sidonians and had no relationship with anyone else. When they returned to Zorah and Eshtaol, their fellow Danites asked them, how did you find things? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Tell me where you're watching me from. I'll be more than happy if you are in this channel. I'll be very happy to answer you. They answered, come on, let's attack them. We have seen the land and it's very good. Aren't you going to do something? Don't hesitate to go there and take it over. When you go there, you will find an unsuspecting people and a spacious land that God has put into your hands, a land that lacks nothing whatsoever. Then 600 men of the Danites, armed for battle, set out for Zorah. Eshtaol, on their way, they set up camp near Kiriath Jearim in Judah. This is why the place west of Kiriath Jearim is called Mahane Dan to this day. From there, they went on to the hill country of Ephraim and came to Micah's place. Then the 5 men who had spied out the land of Laish said to their fellow Danites, do you know that one of these homes has an ephod, some household god, and an image overlaid with silver? Do you know that one of these houses has an ephod, some household gods, and an image overlaid with silver? Now you know what to do. So they turned in there and went to the house of the young Levite at Micah's place and greeted him. The 600 Danites, armed for battle, stood at the entrance of the gates. The 5 men who had spied out the land went inside and took the idol, the ephod, and the household gods, while the priest and the 600 armed men stood at the entrance of the gate. When the 5 men went into Micah's house and took the idol, the ephod, and the household gods, the priest said to them, what are you doing? They answered him, be quiet, don't say a word, come with us and be our father and priest. Isn't it better that you serve a tribe and a clan in Israel as a priest rather than just one man's household? The priest was very pleased. He took the ephod, the household gods, and the idol and went along with the people, putting their little children, their livestock, and their possessions in front of them, they turned away and left. When they had gone some distance from Micah's house, the men who lived near Micah were called together and overtook the Danites. Any questions up to there? Welcome to this morning. Welcome to this channel. If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. I'm very happy this morning to be here. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment and tell me where you're watching me from. It is 5 a.m. in the morning, and I'm very happy that we are together in reading the word. Any questions up to there? Any questions up to there? Any questions up to there? Any questions? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Let us continue reading from there. Any questions up to there? It would be very amazing if you finish reading the book of Judges right now. Where were we? We're just about to finish the book of Judges, and if possible, we'll start reading the book of Ruth. When they had gone some distance from Micah's house, the men who lived near Micah were called together and overtook the Danites, and they shouted after them, "What's the matter with you, so that you called out your men to fight?" Any questions up to there? Welcome to this morning run. We've been here the entire night reading. We are now about to finish the book of Judges, and if possible, we'll start reading the book of Ruth tonight. I would want us to read the entire scripture in 60 days. I don't know whether it's possible. I don't know whether it's possible. I'm also trying my luck. I don't know whether it is even it's possible, but I'm just trying anyway. He replied, "You took the gods I made and my priest and went away. What else do I have? How can you ask what's the matter with you?" The Danites answered, "Don't argue with us. Some of the men may get angry and attack you, and you and your family will lose your lives." So the Danites went their way, and Micah, seeing that they were too strong for him, turned round and went back home. Then they took what Micah had made and his priest and went to Lachish against a people at peace and secure. They attacked them with a sword and burnt down the city. There was no one to rescue them because they lived a long way from Sidon and had no relations with anyone else. That city was in a valley near Beth Rehob. The Danites rebuilt the city and settled there. They called it Dan after their ancestor Dan, who was born to Israel, though the city used to be called Laish. Alright, there the Danites set up for themselves the idol, and Jonathan, the son of Gershom, the son of Moses, and his sons were priests for the tribe of Dan until the time of the captivity of the land. They continued to use the idol Micah had made all the time the house of God was in Shiloh. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe, comment, tell me where you're watching me from. The Levite and the concubine. In those days, Israel had no king. Now a Levite who lived in a remote area in the hill country of Ephraim took a concubine from Bethlehem in Judah, but she was unfaithful to him. She left him and went back to her parents' home in Bethlehem, Judah. After she had been there for 4 months, her husband went to her to persuade her to return. She had with him his servant and 2 donkeys. She took him into her parents' home, and when her father saw him, he gladly welcomed him. His father-in-law, the woman's father, prevailed on him to stay, so he remained with him 3 days, eating and drinking and sleeping there. On the 4th day, they got up early, and he prepared to leave. But the woman's father said to his son-in-law, "Refresh yourself with something to eat, then you can go." So the 2 of them sat to eat together, and afterwards the woman said, "Please stay here tonight and enjoy yourself." And when the man got up to go, his father-in-law pursued him. "So stay here that night." On the morning of the 5th day, when he rose to go, the woman's father said, "Refresh yourself, wait until afternoon." So the 2 of them ate together. Then, when the man with his concubine and his servant got up to leave, his father-in-law, the woman's father, said, "Now look, it's about evening, spend the night here. The day is nearly over. Stay and enjoy yourself. Early tomorrow morning, you can get up and be on your way home." But unwilling to stay another night, the man left and went towards Jebus, that is Jerusalem, with his 2 saddled donkeys and his concubine. When they were near Jebus and the day was almost gone, the servant said to his master, "Come, let's stop at the city of the Jebusites and spend the night." Any questions up there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Tell me where you're watching me from. His master replied, "No, we want to go into any city whose people are not Israelites. We'll go to Gibeah." He added, "Come, let's try to reach Gibeah or Ramah and spend the night in one of those places." So they went up, and the sun set as they neared Gibeah in Benjamin. There they stopped to spend the night. They went and sat in the city square, but no one took them for the night. That evening, an old man from the hill country of Ephraim, who was living in Gibeah, came in from work in the fields. When he looked and saw the traveler in the city square, the old man said, "Where are you going? Where did you come from?" He answered, "You're now away from Bethlehem in Judah to a remote area in the hill country of Ephraim where I live. I've been to Bethlehem and Judah, and now I'm going to the house of the Lord. No one has taken me for the night. We have both straw and fodder for our donkeys, and bread and wine for ourselves, for the servants, me, the woman, and the young man with us. We don't need anything. You're welcome at my house." The woman said, "Let me supply whatever you need. Only don't spend the night in the square." So she took him into the house. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. So don't spend the night in the square. So he took him into the house and fed his donkeys. After he had washed their feet, they had something to eat and drink. While they were enjoying themselves, some of the wicked men of the city surrounded the house, pounding on the door. They shouted to the old man who owned the house, "Bring out the man who came to your house so that we can have sex with him." The owner of the house went outside and said to them, "No, my friends, don't be so vile. Since this man is my guest, don't do this outrageous thing. Look, here is my virgin daughter and his concubine. I'll bring them out to you now, and you can use them and do to them whatever you wish fit. But as for this man, don't do such an outrageous thing." But the men would not listen, so the man took his concubine and sent her out, and they raped her and abused her through the night, and at dawn they let her go. At daybreak, the woman went back to the house where her master was staying, fell down at the door, and lay there until daylight. When her master got up in the morning and opened the door and and stepped out to continue his way. There lay his concubine, fallen in the doorway of the house with her hands on the threshold. She said to her, "Get up, let's go." But there was no answer. Then the man put her on his donkey and set for home. When he reached home, he took a knife, cut up his concubine, limb by limb, into 12 parts and sent them to all the areas of Israel. Everyone who saw it was saying to one another, "Such a thing has never been done." Mm. Such a thing has never been done, has never been seen or done, nor since the days the Israelites came up of Egypt. Just imagine, you must do something, so speak up. Aha! Then all Israel from Dan to Beersheba and from the land of Gilead came together as one and assembled before the Lord at Mizpah. The leaders of all the people of the tribes of Israel took their places in the assembly of God's people, 400,000 men armed with swords. The Benjamites heard that the Israelites had gone up to Mizpah. Then the Israelites said, "Tell us how this awful thing happened." So the Levite, the husband of the murdered woman, said, "I and my concubine came to Gibeah in Benjamin to spend the night. During the night, the men of Gibeah came after me, surrounded the house, intending to kill me. They raped my concubine and she died. I took my concubine, cut her into pieces, and sent one piece to each region of Israel inheritance because they committed this lewd and outrageous act in Israel. Now, all you Israelites, speak up and tell me what you have decided to do." Wow. All the men rose up together as one, saying, "None of us will go home. Not one of us will return to his house. But now this is what we'll do to Gibeah. We'll go up against it in the order decided by casting lots. We'll take 10 men out of every 100 from all the tribes of Israel, and 100 from 1,000, and 1,000 from 10,000 to get provisions for the army. Then, when the armies arrive at Gibeah in Benjamin, it can give them what they deserve for this outrageous act done in Israel. So all the Israelites got together and united as one against the city. The tribes of Israel sent messengers throughout the tribe of Benjamin, saying, "What about this awful crime that was committed among you? Now turn those wicked men of Gibeah over to us so that we can put them to death and purge the evil from Benjamin." But the Benjamins would not listen to their fellow Israelites. From their towns they came together at Gibeah to fight against the Israelites. At once the Benjamites mobilized 26,000 swordsmen from their towns, in addition to 700 able young men from those living in Gibeah. Among all these soldiers were 700 select troops who were left-handed. Each of them could sling a stone at a hair and not miss. Wow. Left-handed. Wow. Any questions up to there? Israel, apart from Benjamin, muzzled 400,000 swordsmen, all of them fit for battle. The Israelites went up at Bethel and inquired of God. They said, who of us is to go up first against the Benjamites? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Tell me where you're watching me from. I'm very happy to be here this morning. The Lord replied, "Judah shall go first." The next morning, the Israelites got up and pitched camp near Gibeah. The Israelites went up to fight the Benjamins and took up battle positions against them at Gibeah. The Benjamites came up at Gibeah and cut down 22,000 Israelites at the battlefield that day. But the Israelites encouraged one another and again took up their positions where they had stationed themselves the first day. The Israelites, if you're new to this channel, subscribe. and comment. The Israelites went up and worked before the Lord until evening, and they inquired of the Lord. They said, "Shall we go up to fight against the Benjamites, our fellow Israelites?" If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Tell me where you're watching me from. Any questions up there? The Lord answered, "Go up against them." Then the Israelites drew near to Benjamin the second day. This time, when the Benjamins came out at Gibeah to oppose them, they cut down another 18,000 Israelites, all of them armed with swords. Wow. Then all the Israelites, the whole army, went to Bethel, and there they sat weeping before the Lord. They fasted that day until evening and presented burnt offerings and fellowship offerings to the Lord. And the Israelites inquired of the Lord. In those days, the Ark of the Covenant was there, with Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, ministering to it. They asked, "Shall we go up again and fight against the Benjamites, our fellow Israelites, or not?" The Lord answered, "Go, for tomorrow I will give them into your hands." Then Israel set an ambush ground around Gibeah. They went up against Benjamin on the third day and took up positions against Gibeah. As they had done, the Benjamites came out to meet them and were drawn away from the city. They began to inflict casualties on the Israelites as before, so that about 30 men fell in the open field and on the roads, the one leading to Bethel and the one to Gibeah. While the Benjamites were saying, "We are defeating them as before," the Israelites were saying, "Let's retreat and draw them away from the city to the roads." Any questions up to there? All the men of Israel moved from their places and took up positions at Baal Tamar, and the Israelite ambush charged out of its place on the west of Gibeah. Then 10,000 of Israel able men made a frontal attack on Gibeah. The fighting was so heavy that the Benjamites did not realize how near disaster was. The Lord defeated Benjamin before Israel, and on that day the Israel struck down 25,100 Benjamites, all armed with swords. Then the Benjamites saw that they were beaten. Any questions after there? Now the men of Israel had given way before Benjamin, because they relied on the ambush that they set near Gibeah. Those who had been in ambush made a sudden dash into Gibeah, spread out, and put the whole city to the sword. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Tell me where you're watching me from. The Israelites had arranged with ambush, and they should send up a great cloud of smoke from the city, and then the Israelites would counterattack. The Benjamites had begun to inflict casualties on the Israelites, about 30, and they said, "We are defeating them as in the first battle." But when the column of smoke began to rise from the city, the Benjamites turned and saw the whole city going up in smoke. Then the Israelites counterattacked, and the Benjamins were terrified because they realized that disaster had come on them. So they fled before the Israelites in the direction of the wilderness, but they could not escape the battle. And the Israelites came out of the towns, cut them down there. They surrounded the Benjamites, chased them, and easily overran them in the vicinity of Gibeah on the east. 18,000 Benjamites fell, all of them valiant fighters. As they turned and fled towards the wilderness to the rock of Rimmon, the Israelites cut down 5,000 men along the roads. They kept pressing after the Benjamites as far as Gidom and struck down 2,000 more. On that day, 25,000 Benjamite swordsmen fell, all of them valiant warriors, but 600 of them turned and fled into the wilderness to the rock of Rimmon, where they stayed for 4 months. The men of Israel went back to Benjamin and put all the towns to the sword, including the animals and everything else they found. All the towns they came across, they set on fire.
The men of Israel had taken an oath at Mizpah, none of us will give his daughter in marriage to a Benjamite. The people went to Bethel, where they sat before God until evening, raising their voices and weeping bitterly. Lord, God of Israel, why has this happened in Israel? Why should one tribe be missing from Israel today? Early the next day, the people built an altar and presented burnt offerings and fellowship offerings. Then the Israel asked who from all the tribes of Israel had failed to assemble before the Lord, for they had taken a solemn oath that anyone who failed to assemble before the Lord at Mizpah was to be put to death. Now the Israelites grieved for the tribe of Benjamin, their fellow Israelites. Today one tribe is cut off from Israel. They said, how can we provide wives for those who are left, since we have taken an oath by the Lord not to give them any of our daughters in marriage? Then they asked which one of the tribes of Israel failed to assemble before the Lord at Mizpah. They discovered that no one from Jabesh Gilead had come to the camp for the assembly, for they counted the people. They found that none of the people of Gilead were there. So the assembly sent 12,000 fighting men with instructions to go to Jabesh Gilead and put the sword to those living there, including the women and children. This is what you are to do: kill every male and every woman who is not a virgin. They found among the people living in Jabesh Gilead 400 young women who had not slept with a man, and they took them to a camp at Shiloh in Canaan. Then the whole assembly sent an offer of peace to the Benjamites at the rock of Rimmon. So the Benjamins returned at that time and were given the women of Jabesh Gilead, who had been spared but were not enough for all of them. The people grieved for Benjamin because the Lord had made a gap in the tribes of Israel. And the elders of the assembly said, with the women of Benjamin destroyed, how shall we provide wives for the men who are left? The Benjamite survivors must have heirs. They said, so that a tribe of Israel will not be wiped out. We can't give them our daughters as wives, since we, Israelites, have taken this oath. Any questions up to there? Since, cursed be anyone who gives a wife to a Benjamite. But look, here is the annual festival of the Lord at Shiloh, which lies north of Bethel, east of the road that leads to Bethel at Cheshire, and south of Lebona. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. So they instructed the Benjamites, saying, go and hide in the vineyards and watch. When the young women of Shiloh come out to join in the dancing, rush from the vineyards, and each of you seize one of them to be your wife. Then return to the land of Benjamin. When their fathers and brothers complain to us, we'll say, do us the favor of helping them, because we do not get wives for them during the war. You will not be guilty of breaking an oath because you did not give your wives' daughters to them. So that is what the Benjamites did. While the young women were dancing, each man caught one and carried her off to be his wife. Then they returned to their inheritance and rebuilt the towns and settled in them. At that time, the Israelites left that place and went back to the tribes and each to the tribes and clans, each to their own inheritance. In those days, Israel had no king. Everyone did as they saw fit. We have finished reading the book of Judges. I'm very happy to have finished. Let us start reading. Any questions up to that? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Tell me where you're watching me from. So tomorrow we'll start reading the book of Ruth. Right? How many chapters? 4 chapters in the book of Ruth. We can start reading the book of Ruth. There are only 4 chapters. We can do that today. Even we don't need to do that tomorrow. Any questions up there? Let's start another stream.